The phone call that changed the trajectory of my life and altered my thinking about Black economic empowerment came out of the blue. At that moment, I happened to be waiting to board a flight from London to Los Angeles and was reviewing notes for a meeting I had scheduled with one of America's leading medical associations, then run by a wonderfully effective Black woman, Adrienne White Faines. At that time, I flew so often for business that the airport was practically my home. Not that I minded. In my varied roles over the years as entrepreneur, market investor, corporate executive, and strategy consultant to behemoth-size and smaller businesses, fast-growing startups, international agencies, and government bodies, I'm always in my element when I'm on the move. Travel comes with the territory. For many of my peers, constant travel for work, especially when you are crossing multiple time zones, can be a huge downside of the job. But despite the inconvenience, the perpetual jet lag, and sleep deprivation, I must confess that I find almost everything about departures and arrivals fascinating. Perhaps you've had the same feeling of wonder as you venture through your daily routine, maybe sometimes going outside your comfort zone. Whom will you meet? What will you see? What new ideas might come your way? What unforeseen circumstance might send you off in an unplanned yet possibly fortuitous direction? Or will your best-laid plans go awry? In any case, there's something empowering about the promise of untold opportunity looming ahead, which is why step one, embrace the unexpected, can be your lifeline, even in inclement times. My appreciation of all kinds of expeditions probably has something to do with the fact that from a very early age, travel was a meaningful part of my life. When I was a child growing up in North Carolina, my father, Henry Collins, a scientist who left academia to join a Swiss chemical company, regularly flew for business from the 1970s. Switzerland was a frequent destination for my dad, and so was domestic travel to far-flung parts of North America. Sometimes, if we were lucky enough, my mother Adeline, an educator who had been raised in Philadelphia, would take my two siblings and me to go and see him off at Greensboro's airport. The sight of him embarking on his journey still looms large in my memory. Dad, always dressed in a suit, with his briefcase and carry-on, tall and imposing, striding purposefully towards the departure gate. One of the few Black passengers I remember seeing. Whenever he returned, my brother, sister, and I would bombard him with questions. We were more interested in asking, "What'd they give you to eat and drink on the plane, Daddy?" than in what he actually did while away in Switzerland. We squabbled over the airplane treats he brought home for us to share, especially those Swiss chocolates. Dad's job and the importance of his work, which had world-impacting properties, were completely normal to me. The notion became part of my DNA that if you want to prosper and change the world for the better, go off and get to know it. I regularly saw a Black business executive, my father, jetting off for meetings across the Atlantic. That was our life. But it wasn't until I started comparing notes with school friends that I realized how odd others might find this. Even then, I didn't connect my love of travel with an even deeper yearning for the freedom that comes from determining one's own destinations. Freedom is a longing, I believe, that lies in most of us.